and of the Holy Spirit. Please be seated. The sermon today is about stewardship, but more precisely, the morality behind stewardship. In the Gospel reading today, Jesus gives us a story about a steward's relationship with money, a dishonest manager doing fraud. Not only that, if you read well in this story, even the owner and the clients are dishonest. We are presented with unscrupulous businessmen in this entire story. The wisdom of Christ points their dishonesty with money so as to teach us the God-honoring financial lifestyle. We read that the owner wants to fire his manager because of the bad reports that were brought to him regarding his manager who was wasting his possessions. When the owner announces to the manager that he's fired, the latter, the manager, knowing that he cannot earn his living by physical labor work, and that begging for money is not a solution for him either. Prior to leaving, he decided to give out large amounts of discounts to the clients with the hope that in return they would have to receive him into their homes as a way of paying him back. This is fraud. In addition to that, surprisingly, the owner commended the unjust steward for doing that. Isn't that surprising to you? Here is the catch point. Jesus is pointing out the steward is being praised by his former master for prudently using the things of this life to ensure his worldly future. Jesus' point for us is that we also should use the things of this life prudently in order to store up treasures in heaven. And he goes on to stress that whoever can be trusted with very little thing can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. So if you cannot be trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? And if you cannot be trustworthy with someone else's property, who will give you property of your own? It is true until today that many unbelievers are wiser in the ways of the world than some believers of God are towards the things or matters of God. Admit it. Jesus is pointing out to us that we, children of light, ought to use our resources wisely too. Let me point this out to you. Historically, stewardship was the responsibility given to household servants to bring food and drinks to a castle dining hall. The term stewardship was then expanded to indicate a household employee's responsibility for managing household or domestic affairs. But in the church context, stewardship is about heart change. Dick Towner, who is the executive executive director of the Good Sense Stewardship Movement and author of the publication Key Role Stewardship Ministry, said that the primary purpose of this ministry is, first, to help the congregation live a God-honoring financial lifestyle, and second is to grow spiritually, not necessarily to increase giving. If the church ignores the abundance of scriptural teaching about our relationship to money, it fails to prepare its people in a major discipleship area of life. Very often, church leaders are uncomfortable to teach on money. But per se, money is neutral. It is simply a medium of exchange. It can be used for great good or for great evil. Jesus singled out money as the one thing we could not serve and still serve God. However, Towner maintains that Jesus seems to understand that more than any other thing, money has the power to reveal the true condition of a person's heart. To grow spiritually, in his inspired letter to Timothy today, St. Paul gives us instructions to help us achieve our journey to this God-honoring financial lifestyle, such as supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings. We can add to that list that at St. Matthew's there is the adult Christian education class on Sunday morning and Bible study at this coming Advent season. Paul even stresses the example that Jesus gave to us. That is, as a human being, Jesus gave his own life as a ransom for all humankind. A definition of ransom is the practice of holding a prisoner or item to demand money or property to secure their release. Or it can refer to the sum of money involved. St. Paul stresses also how important it is to pray for everyone, including kings and queens and all those in high positions. In our reading from Amos, we hear how important it is to care for the poor. So we see that prayer and attitude of thanksgiving and caring for each other are all aspects of Christian stewardship. Indeed, Christianity teaches us that there are more blessings to give than to receive. Let us not be slaves to sin with money, but rather be slaves to serve God and give for the glory of his name. As the refrain in our psalm for this morning tells us, let the name of the Lord be praised from this time forth forevermore. Amen. Amen.